Josh, we are talking Star Wars The Force Awakens once again. Warning, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you have not seen the movie, get out.
We've been thinking about the movie all weekend, and there's 3 things nagging at the back of our brains. So these are our questions, and these are what we think the answers could be. They might not be. The first one is, what is up with the map to Luke Skywalker? BB-8 gets a little piece of a map from Lore, the mayor of a town on Jakku. No idea how he got it. It's only part of a map. The rest of it is in R2's system somehow. He wakes up at the end of the movie, he has the rest of the map, and somehow they connect the dots and they know exactly where Luke Skywalker is. That doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of ways because maps in space don't exactly work like maps on planets, like a puzzle piece missing. And then there was like the dotted line to the planet where they probably don't really need a dotted line to a planet. It could just be this planet and they go straight there.
Right.
But the question is, how did R2 wake up? How did he get the map?
Right, and I believe we're talking about the same leak, which was, I think, JJ confirmed this.
JJ was in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. He says that he actually got that info, R2-D2, from when he accessed the Death Star computers in A New Hope, when he like plugged his little finger in and spun it all around, and then he had that in his backup, which is how the New Order, or the First Order, had that info. Kylo Ren mentions it was in our backups, yeah. So same source of information there. When BB-8 rolls up and pulls the cloth off R2-D2, he apparently says like, hey, I have part of the map. Do you have the rest of it? And then R2-D2 thinks about it for a while. And then at the end wakes up and he's like, yeah, I do have that map. And Rey's being there is coincidental. People thought her maybe being daughter of Luke kind of happened to wake up R2. He was like programmed to wake up when she arrived.
Yeah. I felt they explained like the whole... Like, I think we've talked about the gripe that you and I both have is, like, how puzzle-ish and visually spoon-fed. It's just really bizarre. It's just like, oh, here's the missing piece. But they when they talk about it, it makes more sense, as far as I remember, where I think Han Solo says, this is just the beginning pieces of it. Like, he says, we can't understand anything about this because, my impression, the galaxy is so big, we just have a couple of systems that are unidentifiable.
C-3PO also says this matches no known system.
Right.
They could have done a lot better than...
Yeah, the reference is what that was, right?
Flipping that puzzle piece in.
Yeah, I think visually, it could have been cooler if it was maybe like a couple of layers or like... Yeah, I mean, it just visually, it was like so gimmicky, but... And
also, here's what JJ's interview also said. It was a map of Jedi temples. And... So they could have done it this way. They could have done, they had a map of thousands of them. And what Lore and BB-8 could have had was the one that Luke was actually at. Or perhaps it highlighted one that was special because I think I heard that this is the first one. So Luke actually went to the first Jedi temple. When she finds him, you see all those stacked stones. I thought that's how he spent his time, but that could be a very old temple.
Yeah, and I think... That's what kind of the waypoint, when you look at the whole map as a whole, it's kind of like, it looked like a series of stops. Like, he essentially was hitting all these temples, and then maybe the last one was where he imagined it to be.
Right, or it could be going like further back in time, or there also is in Star Wars, like in more remote regions and with smaller ships, you need hyperspace buoys to jump between. So maybe that was just the hyperspace route, but... Like, with the might of the government, I'm sure they could have figured something out. Like, Star Destroyers and bigger capital ships don't need that. Second question we had. There's been a lot of talk about Rey's Force vision when she touches Luke's blade. His and Anakin's blade. So there's some cool clues there. A lot of, like, cool little secrets that aren't really, like, huge mysteries. Right. Like, if you watch it a couple times, you notice you hear Yoda's voice. You hear Obi-Wan's voice.
And then JJ confirmed that it was just... a snippet they cut out from the original trilogy. Like, you can find a moment where Obi-Wan technically says Rey, whether it be in a sentence somewhere, so they just took those out, which is pretty cool.
I actually heard that Ewan McGregor might have recorded a line.
Oh, okay. It was Ewan McGregor, not
they used both.
Alec Guinness?
They used both.
Wow.
And then she starts out in a hallway, so it's easy to think that maybe that's Starkiller Base. People, like, compared it to the original. Yeah. It's Cloud City.
100%.
It's Cloud City when Luke and Vader have their fight and they're going out to the turbine area in the middle. So that's a really cool detail.
Really cool.
But that's not our question. Our question is, what happened at the Jedi Temple with the Knights of Ren?
I believe, speculation, that it basically just shows Luke Skywalker putting his hand on R2-D2, giving him maybe the plans, or he already had them. But I guess he was probably telling him... Actually, now, that changes my mind.
I thought maybe with his robot hand, he could have been giving him information or instructions, but now
it's just
maybe
like,
not.
just sentimental. Like,
Maybe
hey,
just
dude,
saying bye.
see ya, because Kylo Ren just killed all of my pupils, which is basically, that's the layout, right? So people were saying that in the dream sequence, he's killing someone, and the speculation that people are claiming is that the guy he kills was the previous leader of Knights of Ren.
Leader or in the Knights of Ren. They see the helmet and the mask and think that he's a member of the Knights of Ren. Personally, I think he's just another, probably the last one of the Jedi apprentices. Because then the next shot is they're in a field. The rest of the Knights of Ren are like cool with it. I feel like if their leader just got killed, they'd be fighting. And then they're surrounded by bodies. So
Think about this, though. Actually, I didn't think about this. I mean, it's all speculation, right? But the guy he kills is facing the wrong way. Like, that is like classic backstabbing shot. Like, if they were actually fighting, like that dude should have been facing Ren, but he wasn't. It was like, I imagine maybe they just killed all these Jedi, and then Ren, just like the typical dark side way, kills his master or something like that. Maybe that was like one of his masters or something.
it's possible. I still think that he's Jedi because the Jedi apprentices, like the younglings, they also wore those hats.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, it could be a throwback. Just because he's wearing a mask doesn't mean he's Knights of Ren. That is a good point about him facing the other direction. And then one shot that doesn't really seem to fit is Kylo Ren pans his head, looks at the camera, and it makes you think he's looking or he sees Rey.
Right.
My theory is she wasn't really necessarily in that scene at all.
I don't think so either.
What I've seen people kind of propose is that he saved her life, Kylo Ren, and then maybe even killed the rest of the Knights of Ren to protect himself and then hid her away on Jakku.
Kylo did that.
Kylo did that, not Luke or someone else. Not Luke or Han or whatever.
But that implies that Kylo knew she was Force sensitive because
She was...
he never did. Like, he remember how surprised he was by her. If he personally put her on Jakku, he would know who she is, that she was on Jakku. I guess he does get scared when he finds out there's a girl, so he could know or could remember.
I think he knows.
He knows of the girl, maybe.
I mean, he knew Luke's daughter. That was his
of her, yeah.
niece.
Yeah.
That scene,
that's interesting.
My problem with that scene is I think it was supposed to be ambiguous, but the way it was shot and edited was like you couldn't even tell what was going on a little too much. Like, I wish you knew kind of if he saved her or if he was just killing people. Like, knowing that would have been enough.
Cool. So that's one. And then what's the last question we have here?
What are they referring to by calling this movie Star Wars: The Force Awakens? I think I have 2 points. One is that I don't think it necessarily The Force Awakens has to be one thing in the movie. Like, this is the new era of Jedis coming back again ever since Kylo's betrayal. Like, it's finding Luke. It's everyone becoming Force sensitive. This is setting up the whole trilogy for them to learn how to be Jedi. That's what it's kind of talking about. But in the movie, Kylo and Snoke say they felt an awakening.
Right.
Something like that, right? So that obviously has to refer to something. The obvious answer is it's Rey, because she's Force sensitive. I propose that it's actually Finn that they feel, because when they say that, the only thing that's really happened so far in the movie, it's before she touches the lightsaber, it's before she gets mind interrogated by Kylo.
Them meeting up. They just escaped in the Falcon. They escaped in the Falcon, and they know that Han Solo is with them. I think that's all they know, right? Because he mentions like that's when Snoke says to him, basically, you're gonna have to kill your dad. Hope you're ready for this. That's all in one convo.
Okay, so the only thing that's traumatically happened to anyone so far is that Finn spent his whole life training to be a stormtrooper and then totally fucking changed his mind when he first saw all the horrible stuff they had to do, and he became a good guy. Like, and it was a huge experience for him. If he is Force sensitive, that tremor could have gone out and everyone would have felt it.
No, I'm on the boat, basically, all for Finn being Force sensitive. It makes so much sense. It makes sense that the Awakening was basically a Jedi coming out of a Sith life. Like, that's clearly never happened before, as far as stormtroopers go. So they're all like, what the hell? How could this have happened? And you see it in the little hologram layout of like Finn as a boy. He was taken. They know who his parents are. I'm assuming they might have that info. He does not know. His parents were Force sensitive. That makes so much sense. That makes sense that they pulled him. He just naturally has a breaking point on his first battle. He knows what's good, what's wrong. Like, you essentially can't brainwash someone to that extent. Like, if you're Force sensitive, like he's gonna snap.
That makes a lot of sense too. that's like, I think we just cracked it because, of course, he resisted the brainwashing. Same way Rey resisted the mind attack from Kylo.
Right. Those are 1 and 2 the same thing. Yeah.
So, and here's, I think, why this has to happen is because if Finn isn't Force sensitive, he's the least skilled or like special Star Wars hero ever. Like he's not, like you have to be a pilot in Star Wars or you have to be a smuggler. If you're not those, then you have to be a politician.
He's not.
He's nothing really. He's
nothing.
like
He's
a stormtrooper, and stormtroopers aren't good fighters. Like sure, he could train and become good, but right now he has really nothing going for him unless he's Force sensitive. And I think that would fit because this is about the new generation of Jedi, and just having one, just having Rey, I think it's not enough.
It's not enough. I agree with you. I think that's going to be basically episode 8 is like him coming to realize it, him going back. They're all going to go separate ways. Just like, I mean, I'll say just like Empire Strikes Back, you know, like there's going to be some training. People are going to have to like figure out their lives. And that's what he probably does is he searches for his family and finds answers on that. I think that's huge. The Force Awakens, man.
Yeah, it's really grown on me.
Yeah, since the last spoiler cast, he's Josh is have you gone from like an 8 to a 9? You think?
I've gone from an 8 to a 9. It's obviously I've got my nitpicks. The Rathtars were so bad.
Rathtars, unfortunately, I think they dug a ditch for them. Like I think they like realized they couldn't do much with this scene. Yeah, and that like they couldn't cut it because I think it was integral and like
they had to ditch Han's ship somehow.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but
it wasn't that bad. But it's just like missed opportunity for that time. That's all I have to say. Is like nothing of value really happened.
Nothing
like, there could have been cooler.
J.J. Abrams like the Rathtars.
Yeah,
and that was the one where he like butted in too much.
I think so. Yeah, but it was that was like the worst scene. But hey, whatever. The rest of it was so good.
Really cool. I wish there were like spoilers and stuff with X-Wings. There's like nothing to talk about, but they're so sick.
They were. The X-Wings...
My jaw the whole time was just on the floor.
I've listened to March of the Resistance on Disney Vivo 1,000 times. It's just insane. But now we're just going to
I really
talk
hope
about
they have
Star Wars.
B-Wings. All right, in episode 8. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. See you guys.